Welcome to This Explainer. Let's jump right in, because what we're looking at today is honestly gonna completely flip how we understand our day-to-day lives. We're exploring this totally mind-bending idea that our entire reality, literally everything we think is solid, permanent, and real, might actually just be a simulated loop of repeated data. I mean, what if the life you're living, the person you think you are, is just this giant caching engine constantly replaying past inputs? Today, we're gonna look at exactly how to break out of that loop. So here's a question for you. Who were you before your first thought? It's kind of a profound challenge to our normal way of thinking, right? Because at the newborn state, there was absolutely nothing. No name, no identity, zero fears, zero beliefs. Everything we know right now, all the fears, all the relationships, all the pains, and all the really good memories, we literally learned them all from the outside, and we've just been running in auto mode ever since. So what actually existed before your mind started capturing and repeating all that data? All right, let's get into section 1, the mind's caching engine. Think of your brain exactly like a computer's cache memory. You know how a computer saves data so it doesn't have to load it from scratch every single time? Well, our minds do the exact same thing just to save energy. But what exactly makes up this cached data bundle? Honestly, everything. Even your name, even your sense of self, your deepest fears, your relationships, your daily habits. It's all just repetition. Whatever we've repeated really well, that turns out to be truth for us. I mean, even recognizing your own body is just something you learned the very first time you saw a mirror, and you've just repeated it ever since. Now, ancient wisdom actually has a name for this. It's called Maya. Maya is basically the illusion that this repeated data is a solid objective reality. The enlightened masters, they know it's all Maya. They know for a fact that what's true for you might not be true for someone else. The physical world around us is essentially just this highly convincing, incredibly immersive projection that's being driven by our internal software, our attachments, and our ego. We basically mistake our mental maps for actual physical reality. Which brings us to section 2, repetition creates real reality. The crucial point here is that the frequency of refreshing these mental data packets is what creates the illusion of a solid life. If you repeat a thought, a fear, or a habit enough times, it literally forms space inside you. As the spiritual teacher Robert Adams so beautifully put it, nothing has ever been made, nothing has ever been created. You exist as pure intelligence, as absolute reality. Our true nature is actually just the formless witness observing the loop. He used this great metaphor of a clay pot. Your body is the pot, and the space inside is the exact same as the space outside. When the pot breaks, it's all just one unbroken space. So if reality is a projection, it really helps to look at this depth chart of the render to see exactly how our reality is structured, almost like a multi-layered software program. Right at the surface, you've got daily scenes and thoughts, and you can change those by simply shifting your focus. Below that is the software of our subconscious habits, which gets changed by feeling and sensation. Go deeper still, and you hit the BIOS, our DNA and ancestral traits, which are altered by shifting your core identity. And finally, at the very source, is karma, accessed at what we call the 0 point. Enlightened beings know they can actually access these layers and completely change the code. Let's move on to section 3, the newborn void state. Living in this legacy auto mode is honestly exhausting. It's run entirely by repetition, it's totally driven by the ego, and it's constantly looping through past traumas and future anxieties. But the real magic, the true transformation, happens from this unborn, newborn void state. This is absolute stillness. By knowing that all of this is just a repetition of data, even the body, right, which we learned the first time we saw a mirror, you can actually step right out of that exhaustion and into this incredibly liberating void. So, how do we get there? A super practical way to reach that state is the first look technique. You basically try to experience the world as a newborn god. Drop all the labels, just feel the raw data without naming it, and realize the world is basically fluid light, for example. If you touch cold water, don't immediately label it cold in your head, just feel the raw sensation. When you stop labeling, your mind's storage system stops running its usual loops, and you get to experience completely unfiltered reality. All right, section 4, hacking the illusion. Because enlightened masters know it's all just repeated data. They realize they can change it on the fly. Whatever they want, or whatever they really don't want in their life, they just see it and change it. And this is done through something called sankalpa, an intense creative intention. When they know all this,
At that very moment in the void, everything becomes a direct command. You instantly inject new code to collapse the wave function of reality, instantly changing your repetition data, completely regardless of how badly it was originally trained.
So how do we actually maintain this? Well, we follow the Unborn Mind Technical Manual. Step 1 is the fabrication check. Just notice the mental effort it actually takes to create a reaction. Step 2 is the already perfect command. Just abide in the present. Stop trying to constantly fix yourself. Step 3 is the non-interference protocol. Remember, you can change things on the go. Knowing that the bad repetition data your mind is throwing out is just happening because of auto mode, treat those thoughts like passing strangers. Just ignore them. And finally, step 4, live 24/7 as the methodless observer, effortlessly watching the game play out. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, rewriting your code. Stepping into the void allows you to completely bypass all those old, slow methods of linear change. You can rewrite the script of your life right from ground zero through a non-linear process called quantum jumping. Here's how. Step 1, unplug the user interface. Completely drop your current human story, your name, your past, the whole shebang. Step 2, select the new node. Find the exact coordinate where your desired future already exists as a present fact. And step 3, download the frequency. Assume the actual emotional and physical weight of that reality right now. You collapse the wave function through feeling it, not just wishing for it. Now, the secret to all of this requires exactly one thing: zero resistance. Absolutely zero. Manifestation requires zero resistance, which is honestly only possible when you completely dissolve your legacy labels and enter that newborn state. Think about it. If your labels, your repeated data, say something is impossible, then your resistance is at 100%, and you're just going to stay stuck in the loop. You literally have to empty the cache. So let me leave you with this. If you are the unbroken space that allows the game to exist, who could possibly force you to stay in the loop? The answer is absolutely no one. You have total, absolute authority over your own reality. Once you realize it's all just repetition, you hold the remote control. The magic happens when you step back into that unborn mind and realize you're the architect of all of it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now, what new reality are you going to render today?